Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Copeland, and I love supporting women on this journey of finding love after 50. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 ways to get the attention of a quality man when you're out and about. And I'm so excited to share this with you. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified when I post a new video. And if you like this video, be sure to like it by clicking that button. And of course, add any comments about what you'd like to see here or what you'd like to know more about. So let's get started. All right, you're out and about and you see an attractive man and you want him to notice you. But what do you do? Well, let's start with men absolutely need your encouragement to know it's safe to approach you. I know in movies you see it totally different today, but it's not like that. They are as uncertain as you are about whether or not they will get rejected. So that's why I want to share these 5 tips with you for getting his attention. So let's start with tip number 1. Smile at a man that you're attracted to in real life and make eye contact with him for 3 to 5 seconds. That is going to seem like an eternity to you, but it's a signal to him that you're interested. Another thing you can do is you can walk into a room, you see someone interesting that might be your type, you smile at him, you go back to talking to your friend, and then you turn around and smile again. Again, you've shown him a signal that you're willing to chat if he's available. And if he is, he'll come over and talk to you. Tip number 2, get a man's attention by asking him a question. This can be really fun, okay, if you really use your creativity. First of all, you want to remember that men are wired to help you because you're a woman. They like to fix, they like to make your life easier. So when you ask questions, you're triggering his hero response to step up. But what kinds of questions can you ask? Well, let's say you're at a happy hour with a friend. And by the way, if you go to a happy hour, only go with one friend. Men cannot come in to 5 women sitting around. But let's say you and a friend are at a happy hour and you sit down next to a man who's sitting by himself. What you can do is ask him what he's drinking and whether he'd recommend it or what he would recommend, because many men know a lot about alcohol and they could recommend a new type of wine or a new drink for you to try. Let's say you're at Starbucks. Ask a man if the chair next to his is empty, or ask him what his favorite coffee is if you're standing in line with him. You can start with the weather as well. When you're standing in line next to people, if their head is not into a phone, and that means yours too, you can ask a question. And a really fun thing to do is if you take your dog to a dog park, ask a guy what veterinarian he uses or what he feeds that healthy looking puppy of his or what his favorite toy is for the puppy. Just start to think of different kinds of things you can ask about that do not require a yes or no answer, but where you can get a conversation going. All right, tip number 3 is you always want to listen to what a man is really saying to you, because they do speak another language that we don't always understand. This is one of the biggest things I teach my clients, and it's totally changed their lives to understand that men do not speak or hear the language you do. But here's what I mean about how you cannot always know what they're saying. Heidi is a client of mine, and she was sitting at a bar having dinner with her friend. And a man sat down next to them, and her friend looked over and said, "Hey, what's that salad that looks amazing?" He told her what the salad was, and the 3 of them just started talking up a storm. And when Heidi's friend left, Heidi and this attractive man started talking more. And he shared with her that he wasn't locked into where he lived, and he'd seriously dated women from other cities other than the one he lived in. Heidi totally missed what he was saying. And what he was saying was, are you interested in dating me? So you need to listen to what they're saying. We kind of play with words and play a game so that we don't feel rejected, but men do outright ask. And that's what he was doing when he said he had dated women from cities other than the one he lived in. And for Heidi, she was really sad. She missed that because she actually thought he was a nice guy. All right, tip number 4. I'm going to share one of my favorite television shows with you of all time. It is I Love Lucy. And from time to time, I'll still watch it. I think I've seen every episode at least 25 zillion times. But there was one episode in particular that I really remember, and that was when Lucy signaled Ricky she was interested in him. So in the 1950s, when this show was made, a woman would drop her handkerchief in front of a man, and that was her signal. Now, in this particular episode, which of course was far-fetched, Lucy dressed in a disguise and was pretending to be this other woman. She had a wig on. She looked a little different, but she had the same voice. But she was doing it to test Ricky, which is something that we as women do, and you do want to learn to stop doing that, but that's for another blog. She wanted to see if Ricky would flirt with her. So she dropped her handkerchief and said, "Pardon me," fully expecting him to pick it up for her. Now, both knew this was a signal that she was interested in him, and both knew that he would pick up that handkerchief either way. If he was interested, he would hand her the handkerchief back and start a conversation. If he wasn't interested, he would just hand her the handkerchief and move on. You could do the same thing with men today without using a handkerchief. You can drop your phone. Be careful that it doesn't shatter. Or you can drop something you're carrying, like a folder or a package, and a man will pick it up. And if he starts to talk with you because he's interested, who knows where it might lead to? It's worth it. I know it sounds goofy, but men really do like doing for you. And this could be just a fun way to make meeting a man interesting. Now, tip number 5 is your job is to let him know you're interested in having him approach you. And his job is to ask you out if he's interested in you. If he's not, it doesn't mean he's personally rejecting you. He might be married, he might have a girlfriend, or you might not be his type. Just move on. There's plenty of other men out there for you to date. Chalk the experience up as an opportunity to practice your flirting skills. Flirting is fun, and being around that male energy is fun too. It's very different from the energy of your friends. And use these 5 tips I've shared with you today to start interacting with men wherever you go, because you never know. One just might turn out to be your Mr. Right. I always like ending these with a little inspiration from you. And this is from my client, Laura Leah, who found love at 65. So you think you can't find love at this age? Yes, you can. And she wrote and she said, "I can't thank you enough about how much your program helped me, Lisa. I found my love at age 65. Without what I learned from you, I would never have replied to his ping on the dating site. He didn't tick many of my boxes in terms of age, location, hobbies, etc. But you know what? He had a twinkle in his eye. And I remember your advice to be curious about meeting nice men. So I responded. And we are coming up on our first wedding anniversary, and I have never been happier. Thank you for all you do to help women find quality men." So my question to you is, would you love having a good man in your life like Laura Leah now has? God, imagine no more searching for your guy and no more wondering, where can I find him? And waking up every morning with that love and sweetness in your life. I've left a couple of resources below for you to make this happen in your life. There's all kinds of things on my website that you can take a look at, and they're listed below. And if you want to talk about how to make this happen, there's a link below to set up a time for the 2 of us to talk. In the meantime, get out there and date and use these tips and have lots of fun. And post your comments below if you have any questions. So believing in you. Have a great day.